do you find Miss Diane's name?
It's here.
Oh, here you are, right here.
Yeah,
Teacher of the Year.
Wow, Teacher of the Year.
1985.
yeah, there I am right there.
Oh my goodness.
Big steps.
Those must have been giant kids.
Talk. It's not easy.
I used to be very photogenic.
I've still got one of these books that I got from Jim from the Boy Scout.
Puts this on when she goes at the turn of the century when she goes to school. Okay, now, this is a great old picture. The schoolmaster has fallen asleep, and the kids are all acting up. Now, at the very beginning, most of the teachers were men. Women were not allowed to teach. It took a while for that to change, and then they became school moms. So, now, this is my little play corner. This is my dunce corner. No child wanted to be having to sit here in the dunce corner.
I thought that looked familiar.
I think that'll fit your head, actually.
Oh, it's that big?
One of the first grade students and his mother actually made this, put this together, and they dipped this into wheat tea to give it this color. And they came up with this. So I thought that was very clever.
It was.
And here are many of the people that contributed their time or their money or whatever to the Little Red Schoolhouse. This is in memory of Charles Lusson, Dallas Gordon, Richard DuPont, the blueprint coordinator, and Hanukkah Jevons, who was a former principal. Flagler Beach Women's Club gave money. So a lot of people were interested in our Little Red Schoolhouse. Now, that's for a whole school job right there. Put it in his lap and work on it. So he made this bench, and he made it look old, and he beat on it and did all kinds of things. And it's a recitation bench where the teacher, you're teaching a one-room schoolhouse, first grade, second, third, fourth, and a few fifths. So you call it the second grade, you sit down here, and we're going to recite. The rest of you get busy on the work. So that's what he did. Now, I have picked 1917. If it is 1917, then our Governor Katz, he was the governor of the state of Florida, one of our most distinguished fathers, Honorable Sidney Johnston Katz, governor of the state of Florida. There's that. Okay, this is a quote from him. I feel sure that Flagler County will eventually rank among the best in the state, and I feel so positive of this that I have purchased a 40-acre tract of land here that will immediately be put under cultivation by planting it to Irish potatoes the coming year. So that's what he had to say. That was a big boost to the farmers. Remember, the majority of this county at one time was agriculture. Most of the young men wanted to come to the Little Red Schoolhouse and learn about how to be a good farmer. That's what they wanted to do. Because each one of these little inkwells had to be filled every day. And so one student would be picked, and he would pour a little inky bag over the next one. Okay. This is a chalk box. The chalk was layered in here with sawdust to keep it from breaking up. You could get about 4 layers of chalk in this chalk box. Okay, now.
Now, where did the ink come from? Was that something that the teacher would make up?
No.
Or prepare,
no.
or it came?
I would say the school board ordered it.
Ordered it.
Gave her the ink.
Okay.
That's what I think. 250 years, the country school was the backbone of American education. In 1913, there were 212,000 one-room schools. One half of the school children still attended these schools. Free public education began in our colonial period. In 1641, the Massachusetts Bay Colony provided for the first school system. Yeah, this is a good one. Some early teachers received payments of barley, grain, or Indian corn. no money,
Wow.
and took home. Okay.
Yeah.
Thomas Jefferson believed free public education was essential for a strong democracy, which is true. As new states came into the Union, our government allowed one section in every 36 to be used to build a school. By 1840, 1/4 of the adults could not read or write. Their love of history has made this living museum a reality. November 15, 1933, and that was the week of education. I had no idea this was coming. So, Richard DuPont, who was the vice principal, actually presented this. Now, there's two of them, one here, and I have one in my house. Flip it up, and that might be your ABCs, or 1 to 10, or how a few little spelling words, and there was always "In God We Trust" or some other religious saying. And I want to show you something. I love this Abraham Lincoln book, which I read every year to my children. Of course, he was very poor, you can see that. Ingri Edgar Parin was all there.
Who's the author?
Ingri Edgar Parin was all there. French. Okay. Something I'm going to show you. What year was it published? This year. Well, I don't really see it. Okay, it's just starts in the pictures. He would, Abraham Lincoln as a little boy, would ride the pony, and as his father dug the furrows, then he'd go back and drop the little seeds in. That's how he grew the crops. Now, if you look here, here's Abraham Lincoln and his sister Sarah, and you see what they have in their hands. They have one of those flip-ups. They're going to school. And here's an early schoolroom. This map is on the back of a deerskin. And
Well, that sure got around, didn't it?
and he's making fun of he's not seeing anything. The kids are all I think that's about all there. Oh, the only problem is, I spoke to many civic organizations to get them to contribute money so we could restore this Little Red Schoolhouse. Well, it says, outlines progress to restore high school. And it was, of course, the Little Red Schoolhouse. And this nice woman here made this quilt with the Little Red Schoolhouse to be auctioned off. Retired teachers gifted at Little Red Schoolhouse Museum. These are former teachers that I invited to a tea here because they used to teach here. Little Red Schoolhouse preserved for posterity. And this is the old Bunnell High School. Notice the height of these palm trees. Now, I'll never forget, it was probably about 1969. My husband and I were still in bed, and the phone rang, and they said, the high school's on fire. Jim said, oh, not only could he put out forest fires, but he could put out other structures. So Jim jumped up and put everything on, and I said, I went there, got my oldest son, who's about 18 months old. We went down and watched, and the smoke was coming up from the basement. Some people said it was set on fire, but there was a big old furnace down there. I think that fire came from the furnace. And the firefighters came up and they went boom, 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 boom to all the windows, sprayed water everywhere. So all they did was wet all the teachers' supplies.
Yeah, they put a lot of water.
They had a lot of water.
I went to salvage some of the audio-visual equipment that was down in the basement, and we were walking through water that deep in the basement to salvage this stuff.
Yeah. Now, the reason why I had this is if you'll notice, there's that Martha Washington picture like I had. And here, I gave a Flagler Beach Woman Club starts new season, but my husband Jim came and gave them a talk. And in appreciation for that, they donated some money to the Little Red Schoolhouse. And killed him.
Oh, Lord.
So that's why there's the Buddy Taylor Middle School named after him. This is Jack Plaque, Superintendent of Schools from 1946 to 52. They say Jack Plaque did everything. He was into every prosperous thing in this county. And this, what's his name? Ooh,
Mr. Holland.
Yes, it is Mr. Holland, thank you. Okay. I'll never forget this story. One of the very first teachers to come here, actually her name was Libby, and Mr. Holland comes up to her and says, "Libby, you got everything you need to teach?" She said, "Well, just about, sir, but I could use a globe. I'll get the damn thing to you tomorrow." That's how he talked. That's exactly how he talked.
And that was Mr. Holland that spoke like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the old hotel on the end there. And Ocean City. Now, these are Civil War soldiers. I don't know if they're north or south. But in here are some projects that the kids did.
You did a great job.
Yeah. This is an igloo. Oh.
Your mother was down
Yeah, we sure do. And look at the covered wagon. Wow. The second grader made this pueblo, you know, they would live in there and then climb up here, climb up here. That way they could get away from the Indians, from the enemies, I mean. Oh, okay, that'll do it.
here. Looks like the one my wife uses.
The longest member of the school board was Herschell King. Congratulations for 75 years of service to the community, to Bunnell Elementary School. These are some classes that I'm right here. And I had a close friend who could play the harp. Now, none of the kids here had ever seen or heard harp music. I invited her to come. She came and played the harp, and they were so fascinated. Now, I wish you could see this better. The day that Richard DuPont came out, we dedicated the Little Red Schoolhouse, and there he's giving me that nice plaque, you know, right down there. Yep. And these, oh, this is good. Lindbergh, Charles A. Lindbergh. The superintendent, Bowie was his name. We want you to know that the prayers of our people are that the good Lord will sustain you and your dear companion in this trying hour of grief and suffering. Somebody climbed up and went through the window and stole their baby. And for the speedy and safe return of your precious child. And so that the heartless villains may be apprehended and the severest punishment administered. Recently, I enjoyed the pleasure of receiving from you through Captain C.D. Toller of the Coast Guard at Flagler Beach your 4 autographed photographs for the high school boy and girl in 1930 and the boy and girl in 1931. They had a few necessities. Here is a tin plate to eat their beans on. Here is a bar of soap where they occasionally got to take a bath. That's a bit old bar of soap. And I don't know, maybe something else. Okay, that's enough of that. This is to certify that in recognition of historic significance, the vocational agricultural building, this building, has been officially listed in the National Register of Historic Places, effective the 21st day of February 2007 of the National Park Service. So that's another proof of how historic this place is.
Now, that was something that you spearheaded in getting the designation for this building?
I did. Okay. Well, I sure do need mine. Okay. Now, Mary McLeod Bethune-Cookman College. She had some black teachers that she wanted to come into Flagler County and teach. So she's making a recommendation to the school superintendent in 1918. To Mr. Lowbridge, my dear Mr. Lowbridge, your good letter of August 24th has interested me very much. I can now recommend to you 2 splendid young women who I am sure will be of great benefit to you in your work among Negro children in your county. Their names are Maud L. Reese and May L. Reese and Maud Lever. both holding state certificates. Now that was a big deal. Most of those teachers did not even have a state certificate. They just went there and taught. I may be able to send you the names of some others a little later. Will you be kind enough to tell me the number of teachers that you need, the situation of their vacant schools, and send me some application blanks that the young women may apply intelligently. I am pleased to serve you in this capacity. I am deeply interested in the rural school work among my people, and I am advising these young women to do good practical work and to be real light holders in their community. Thank goodness that, because you can see how faded it is. Mary McLeod McLean, that's her original signature. Okay, now, some of the teachers got together and made this up. All the little things that went into making this Little Red Schoolhouse. And I think it's really neat because you can open the door. Maybe. And, anyway, we'll see what's in here. Well, let's turn it around this way. Well, I don't know which way. Let's,
Yeah, you can have it.
yeah, I think this will do it. Okay, here. The band room, the agricultural building, which is the entrance to the Little Red Schoolhouse, the kindergarten buildings, which are long gone. Barbara Bubis, who was a Jewish teacher, and I put together this book telling all about. Let us introduce our special project to you. We are attempting the restoration of the Little Red Schoolhouse on Bunnell Elementary School campus. Bunnell Elementary School is the site of the original high school built in 1924 on land donated by Mr. George Moody, and on and on. So you can see very poor condition here that had to be fixed. I'm sitting there in the corner. Original condition of building, it's not in good condition at all.
Did you say why they had to take the original windows out?
Well, the original windows, well, yeah, because they were all smashed in by the bad boys in summertime taking
Oh,
to the
dear.
Brixton.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
too bad.
yeah. Okay. Well, now Cornerstone Restorations came up here and looked around. It's going to cost yes. And he said, well, Cornerstone can restore this for a price of $32,200. We said, no way.
And when was that?
That was in, well, that says 1990. So we said, we've got to come up with another plan. And here are the things that need to be done: install feet blackboard in main classroom, install shelving displays and cabinetry for educational specifications and requirements, physical plant need. Bunnell High School may be total loss. Now the high school caught on fire down in the basement. My husband went dashing out there. They had a little rinky-dink fire department that came and just busted out all the windows and sprayed the water everywhere, and all they did was wet all the teachers' supplies. Bunnell High School badly damaged by fire. They had a decision to make. Should they restore that or tear it down? They decided to tear it down and built Bunnell Elementary School in its place. So, Hall Creek Two-Room Schoolhouse, 1912. Predecessor of the Bunnell. That was really the first school in this county. So, children of long ago, what did they look like? My students don't know. Working on my slate and riding a fine horse, taking a broom, and it's, oh, my aching tooth. I am so sorry. Oh, really? Oh, I am so sorry, the death of the little dog. Would you like a pair of shoes? Race with my hook. And the ABCs from McGuffey's Reader, circa 1836. Oh, in school days, John Greenleaf Whittier. Still sits the schoolhouse by the road, a ragged beggar sleeping. Around it still the sumacs grow, and blackberry vines are creeping. Within the master's desk is seen, deep scarred by raps official, the warping floor, the battered seats, the jackknives carved initials, the charcoal fresco on its walls, its door worn still betrayed, the feet that creeping slow to school, went storming out to play. They went slowly in,
That's
but
true.
when it was over, they would dash it out. It's called the Arrowhead Maker. You see he's got an arrowhead there in his hand. And, well, let me see. The man that created this has, and I wish I had brought him, up in Tallahassee, outside the big Tallahassee Museum, is a line of Indians that the man that made those standing Indians. And so that's really, really interesting here. You can just let it drop, we'll pick it up later. Okay, remember I told you about the lady that I asked to come and play the harp? Here's a picture of her playing it for the students, right there. Here is the Bunnell, the high school band marching down the street, 1963. Had a great band. Here's some,
Biggest little band in Dixie.
the biggest little band in Dixie. Was really? Yeah.
Here's a picture of you in 1912.
Winston Churchill, right there. This is also interesting. It's Roosevelt, Mrs. Roosevelt, and I'm not sure who that is. Maybe their son. And this is Roosevelt's mother. She had to be in the middle of everything Roosevelt did. She was even in the middle of this picture, right there. Okay. That's the inside of the Princess Place. Could you kind of move that hat? There they are working, the farmers working out in the fields. And I think DuPont Land Company, was they about to say. This is a high school diploma. They had a lot of Polish people come down. They didn't come from Poland, but they moved to Chicago, and they thought if they came to Florida, they could make a fortune. Well, anyway, this Helen Louise, and that's a Polish name, 1928, got this diploma. Now, why such a great big diploma for just graduating in that year? It's because so many children, that's as far as they got. They just went up to about the 8th grade and they left. Very few went on to high school. Everybody in the classroom was in the band, and here again, they went to Washington. They had a great band. Like he said, the biggest little band in Dixie. They weren't afraid to use the word Dixie. Okay, now, let's see, Walter Mars made biggest little band in Dixie a hit. Here was like Miss Bunnell High, isn't she pretty? Marjorie Bakley. I'm down, oh yeah, I'm right here for some reason. Well, we were specialty teachers. We weren't classroom teachers.
Now, what do you mean by specialty teachers?
We did special things like help children with their spelling, reading, math, things like take a small group rather than a big group in a classroom.
Okay.
All right, now here's where that high school caught on fire. Bunnell High School may be total loss. Well, it was torn down, and Palm Coast was just coming in.
That was a total loss.
Let's see, I was going to say, Palm Coast had just come in, and they said, we will give you free land to build a new school if you'll call it Flagler Palm Coast High School. They wanted that recognition, so they said, okay, free. We don't have any money to buy any land.
Right.
We'll take your land.
So that's where the FPC name came from.
Yeah. Now, this is interesting. Generations at DES. So, because this was a neighborhood school, so many parents sent their children, and their children grew up and sent their children to go to Bunnell Elementary School. And so we got a lot of them up here. Here I am, now attending family alumni. Josh Marquis, Jock Marquis, Diane Marquis, teacher retired. And that's Jock, and that's Josh right there. And other people, how many of the generations came to this school? I really should get in here and do something about that. Okay, we've seen all of this.